Please come.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. KAJOL Singh. Please say something about yourself.
So my name is KAJOL Singh and I'm from Lucknow. I did my graduation from Miranda House University of Delhi and currently I'm pursuing my post-graduation from Jawaharlal Nehru University.
Which subject?
In geography itself. Geography itself.
Geography itself. You are from UP.
Yes.
UP is now getting famous for 2-3 things: encounters, bulldozers. What do you have to say?
So there have been several instances of these cases recently. However, for encounter cases, it is necessary that we did the requisite investigation itself. But for the bulldozer cases, a lot of cases are there where the land that was occupied was illegally occupied or there weren't proper land records. So for this, we can take proper steps for digitization of land records so that there is better clarity. And even if we're removing, like bulldozing people, there should be proper warning that should be given rather than impromptu decisions.
So do you mean to say the principle of natural justice and the proper procedure of law is not being followed in some of these cases?
So that could be the case in some of the cases.
But are these cases winning in the court?
So I'm not aware of.
You are not aware of. Okay. What are the social issues in the state of UP?
So regarding various categories, if we consider women in general, then we have less work participation rate for women. Then it is a patriarchal society, so the amount of opportunities that they get is also not enough. Then their enrollment rate in higher education also is lacking. Then from the health sector, children are specifically malnourished. We have a lot of cases of stunting and wasting. Then we have also caste-related atrocities that are still prevalent.
Poverty, unemployment,
Yes.
casteism,
Yes, sir.
they are not major issues.
So they are.
Okay. What do you think that UP is such a big state? Will it be good for administrating the state if it is divided?
So there are both positives and negatives to this. So
I'm asking your take on that. So you have to take one side view.
So from administrative point of view, it could be better if we divided the state. Because specifically, if we have smaller states, then the development agenda that needs to be focused on will be more precise. And also the execution of the policies will also be better on the ground level itself because there will be better community engagement then.
Very good. What's your take on Uniform Civil Code?
So it is something that we should aim for it. However, it's not something that could be implemented directly at this point of time. So a piecemeal approach of gradual changes would be better rather than imposing it all at once.
So how you will proceed
So we already
to achieve that objective? What are the first few things you would like to do?
So we are already taking certain steps in this regard, wherein we're trying to bring uniformity.
Like?
So like we are giving equal rights for women in case of annulation of marriage. So for all the segments of the society, there are certain rights that they're accorded. So that way we're already moving forward. However, the sentiments of people, like they have the freedom to religion itself. So therein a certain amount of independence should be maintained for the people, wherein they have their own prerogative.
So, like in Assam, you must have read about something is happening in Assam for the last few days. What is that?
So I can't recall right now.
A large number of people who were arrested on certain issue.
I'm sorry, sir, I can't recall.
Child marriage cases. And they say it is permitted in our religious code. So, what will you do in such cases?
So as per the child marriage law, if there are instances of, if there are these instances, then unless it's reported by the parties involved, those marriages are considered like, then they can't be annulled.
Why? It has to be, those parties will never report because
yes, sir, that is one of the loopholes.
It is the loopholes of the act, or it is your wrong understanding?
So I might have to check on that.
Okay, my last question. What electoral reforms you will suggest if you have to? First three, priority wise.
So there should be better oversight during the parties when they are promoting the candidates to stop the cases of use of muscle power and money that is distributed in a lot of cases.
You are suggesting electoral reforms, and this is something which is procedural and that to the parties. You should concrete suggestion.
So for electoral reforms, recently also there have been cases of giving the chances of voting to migrant workers also. So that is something that can be proceeded with, because considering it's a democracy and everyone has the right to vote and everyone should be able to express their opinion.
Since you are not answering my question directly, please tell me NRI voting, what is your take on that?
So NRI voting specifically for people who are employed outside other than the diplomatic
employed or student.
So as such, they should have the right to vote because they're still citizens of India. However, we'll have a lot of procedural complexities in here which will have to be looked into. But since they are citizens of India, they should have the right.
Okay, Kajol. So, what is our vision for Amrit Kal?
Sir, an inclusive and equitable development which is also sustainable, and then also a green economy. So, green economy and focusing more on development.
Okay, so too many dimensions. Okay, so sustainable development, UP is where does it figure?
So sustainable development, specifically if we say we're trying to decentralize it and then each district is trying...
No, I'm trying to understand where does it figure among the states? Are you aware that there is ranking and score?
Yes, so there is a ranking for SDGs.
And which goal UP is doing better?
So I can't recall the ranking.
You can't recall,
right
okay, fine. In the agriculture budget union budget, what are the key features of agriculture?
So for agriculture, we're trying to promote more like last mile delivery. So the credit that is available to them should be provided to all the people so that it is more inclusive, and then they do not have to go into a cycle of poverty wherein they're taking money from other sources.
So what are those aspects? So one is credit. You have mentioned one enhanced credit. Otherwise?
So otherwise, we're also focusing more on the subsidies that are given on fertilizers. And then uniformity is also being promoted here so that there is similar cost and then all the people can avail that benefit on an equal footing.
This year is celebrated as Millet Mission.
Yes.
Okay. So there was something mentioned about Millet Mission in the budget, what it was called?
So we're promoting millets as per the agroecological regions of the area. So it is also a superfood, so it will be included in the diets itself and also the meetings that will be taking place.
How it will be done?
So it's included in the food that is being given in the PDS also.
But where from it will come? How it will be fortified?
So I'm not sure of the exact intricacies of it.
Okay. And what are the major millets?
So we have jowar, sorghum, rye, and bajra.
Okay. And any nutritional benefit in that?
So they're higher in protein content as well, and then...
Protein?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Proteins and carbohydrates also. So it has higher energy content.
It has the micronutrients.
Yes, sir.
That is basically important for that. Okay. Now you mentioned about agroclimatic zone. How many agroclimatic zones are there in the country, and are we following agroclimatic planning?
So agroclimatic zones are, I think it's 12. I'm forgetting the
It's
exact
15
number.
as per ICAR. And are we following agroclimating, and why not?
No,
Should
sir,
there
not
be a law?
entirely.
So should there be a law on that?
So not exactly a law, but also, but if we can focus more on the awareness that is there. Because if we're not following it, its result is also evident in the production that is happening. It's declining day by day. And
How
then
much economic growth advance estimate has NSO advance estimate has predicted, or
so for the entire,
for this current financial year?
so it was close to 7%. 7%.
You don't know the figure exact?
No, sir.
World Bank report? No,
I can't recall.
Okay.
Ms. Kajol, you have done some course in Tibetan language.
Yes, sir. A beginner course.
Can you tell us where do we have the government of Tibet in exile?
So Dharamshala, Himachal Pradesh.
Who is the Prime Minister?
So the Prime Minister is not currently residing in India also, but their holy figure was Dalai Lama, who is currently here.
Watch.
Is still. So.
Okay. You were studying at JNU, or
Yes,
studied?
I'm still studying.
Yes. JNU campus, we are witnessing lots of violence in the last few years. Why? Otherwise also it has been quite active campus. But violence on the JNU campus, why?
So the specific reason for violence would be the political alignments that the student political bodies have. So there have been cases where due to disagreements, violent turns have taken place. However, the proper inquiry has been done, and the administration has tried to solve the situation. And then the students, it was taken care of that the students weren't actually harmed. The situation was controlled as soon as possible. The steps could be taken.
No, because in their past, they have locked up even a lady teacher. So why is it that, is it some problem with the admission policy?
So I won't say it's with the admission policy itself, because the admissions were being taken place in a proper regularized manner also. Now the NTA takes the admission tests, which is uniform.
Should we ban student politics?
No, sir, that would be a very extreme step, and also not only students but every individual should be aware of the politics that's happening in the nation, because it affects them in their daily lives also.
Can you name some big alumni of
JNU?
Yes.
I forgot the names right now.
I'm giving you some hint. They are in the present cabinet also.
Yes, sir. Our External Affairs Minister.
Anybody else? Okay, you come from Eastern Uttar Pradesh. Your parents are from Eastern Uttar Pradesh. Why is it that Eastern Uttar Pradesh, there is lots of criminalization of politics? Crime in general is also high, but criminalization of politics is much higher in Eastern Uttar Pradesh. Why?
So specifically in Eastern Uttar Pradesh, criminalization of politics is higher because a lot of muscle power is used there. Like when they're trying to, also there are a lot of identity-based politics. And because of that also, there are specific allegiances that are there. So a lot of times when they're using more muscle power, there are they're able to get more people with them to vote for them if they have more muscle power. So that's why
recently, the Uttar Pradesh government came up with the idea of Greater Lucknow. Can you tell us what is this idea of Greater Lucknow?
Sir, I'll have to read on this. I'm not exactly sure about it.
Okay, my last question. There are experts who predict that Pakistan is going to disintegrate.
Yes.
It's rapidly heading towards being a failed state. So, what should India do should that happen?
So we have to follow these developments very closely because it is a neighbor, and any fallout that happens there will have implications on our borders itself. So not directly, but we should be taking care that if the terrorist activities are happening there, then at least there we can provide some help, because India has been holding even on the world stage against terrorism. India has been raising its voices, and one of the reasons why the prediction of fallouts is there because in the northern areas of Pakistan there are separatist groups that are operating. So if required and if asked upon, then India can provide some assistance in those cases.
Assistance to whom? There is no Pakistan.
So the government is still existing there, and then if there is an official request, then perhaps yes.
Thank you.
Kajol, you are a student of geography
Yes, sir.
and now currently in GNU,
Yes, sir.
known as Aravali Hills.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me the whole range of Aravali Hills, where it starts and...
So it goes all the way to Rajasthan, and then
Start from Delhi.
yes, sir.
Whether North campus is part of Aravali Hills or not?
So there is the ridge that is there.
Okay.
In the
Is that so? Geographically, it is part of the Aravali Hills. Okay, go ahead. Then Aravali,
Yes.
and it goes up to.
So it passes through Haryana also from the southern borders, and then in Rajasthan also.
Rajasthan up to what points? Environmentalists are raising issues of environment that's on Aravali Hills around.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
What is the affected parts?
So it's across the 3 states that I mentioned here, and it's also because the development activities are taking place in these areas.
So, what that area is, which district is affected? And there was a hue and cry for displacement. Matter went to Supreme Court. Any idea of that?
No, sir, I'm sorry.
Okay, you are from Lucknow.
Yes, sir.
Today something is happening there. Are you aware?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
So the Investors Summit is starting.
A global
Yes,
meet
sir.
on investors.
Yes, sir.
What happened to last year's? Is there any progress in any direction? Or every year it is a phenomena or rituals?
So it has to be done everywhere because new development plans are
So,
being done.
no, I'm asking, you are from Lucknow.
Yes,
Your
sir.
father is also civil servant. Which service he is?
So the IAS. It's
Okay.
IAS.
So, now the last many years we are, so which direction progress has been noticed?
Considering the large size of Uttar Pradesh itself, there has been more infrastructural progress that has been made in the terms of expressways that have been developed, so that there is a seamless mobility from the eastern to the western side. and
Recently,
also-
from Lucknow to some points, that inauguration was done by PM. Which was that?
Yes, so the eastern expressway was done from Lucknow to Ghazipur.
How many total kilometers it is?
So I'm not sure of the exact length.
Okay. While discussing about Honourable Chairman, you discuss until they report child marriage.
Yes, sir.
If I do sati, state will not intervene. If I murder of my family members and not report, state will not intervene. What for state is there?
So there are sati specifically has been abolished, and also murder is a chargeable offence under the.
So the same is for the age for the marriage.
Yes, sir.
In Supreme Court is engaged with many of such social issues. Can you tell me something? This is also one of them or not?
So the age of marriage is also one of the cases that are being looked into because we.
Other than that, okay.
Yes, sir.
Age, where it is now? This issue?
So there is a committee set up to see if the age can be increased for and the
Which
equal
committee?
age.
Which committee? It's a parliamentary committee, standing committee. Okay. Other issue?
So for marriage sector itself.
You have done your schooling from some board, Indian,
Yes, sir. ICSE.
ICSE.
Yes.
What are other boards in India in education sector?
So we have the CBSE board, and then apart from that, we have the state boards for the respective states.
Okay. Other than that, yours is this is not a state. It is not CBSE.
No, sir. It's the Indian Certificate for Secondary Education. Then
Yes. Other than this,
so these are the ones I'm aware of right now.
any comparison?
Yes, sir. In the way the education was provided, at least for the examination pattern, I was able to tell apart that the amount of syllabus that was given was very different. As in for the ICSE sector,
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Your fifth choice is Indian Foreign Affairs.
Yes, sir.
How geopolitics determine India's foreign policy with reference to Afghanistan?
So India was, with reference to Afghanistan specifically, India was following an Afghan-led government and it was supporting that. So when Taliban took over, now our relations are, there hasn't been much contact in those diplomatic terms now. However, Afghanistan is important for us because it lies in the way of our connection to the other Central Asian nations. So there is a need to, now that the government is there, the Taliban government is there, so now there is a need for engagements to be also done. However, the people's benefit with the stand that India already had should be at the forefront.
So do you think that the country in between, Afghanistan and India,
Yes, sir.
that has no relevance in Afghan policy?
No, sir, it does.
What is the, you have to take into account that also.
Yes, sir. So we weren't able to directly contact Afghanistan because Pakistan had blocked the road linkages and also sometimes the air passage was also blocked. So we had to go through Iran itself.
Let us come to the determinants of a nation's foreign policy. What are the major factors determined in formulation of foreign policy of a country?
So when determining the foreign policy, it is necessary that we see the accessibility and then also the mutual exchange that can be provided. Because a lot of times the trade factor also plays a major role in the foreign policies that we have, depending on if we want to diversify our basket wherein we're importing from or exporting to. Then the relations that are already existing.
LOC and LAC, why is it important in India's foreign policy? Every time we talk about LOC, LAC and the issues relating to it, why are we so much concerned? If it is only trade and all, why we are so concerned about it?
So specifically for LOC and LAC, it is because it's in the Indian territory where it's supposed to be the sovereignty of the nation.
Sovereignty of the nation. Now you are coming back to how the sovereignty of a nation is at threat with reference to Ukraine and Russia's ongoing warfare more than almost a year.
Yes, so sovereignty means we are not affected by the third parties or the outside influence in the governance of the nation itself. But with regards to the Russia-Ukraine war, there a lot of supply chain constrictions happened.
What is sovereignty in foreign policy dimension? What is sovereignty in your understanding?
So in my understanding, it's the ability of a nation to be able to decide for itself.
Yeah, that is the point. That's the point. Last question. Polar region, geography is your subject.
Yes, sir.
North Pole and South Pole. North Pole regions, there are so many human settlements. Many countries are there in the polar region, northern region. But South Pole, we don't find any human settlement, but we find flora and fauna. What do you think the reasons?
So there is a basic differentiation in the terms of the hemisphere itself. There is more landmass in the northern hemisphere than the southern hemisphere. So naturally, the population that is present in the northern hemisphere is more, and then also there has been expansion. So a lot of indigenous communities are present in the northern hemisphere who have adapted to the way of life there. But in the southern hemisphere, the proximity of Antarctica to other continents is not very easily accessible, which is not the case in the northern hemisphere, because when the temperatures decrease, then it's easily accessible considering Greenland, Alaska, Russia region.
Okay. So, why civil service?
So the basic premise is empowerment, because everyone should be able to choose for themselves, and civil service is actually a platform where I would be more in the level of contact that I will have with people, so that at least if I'm not
Politics is a better way.
No, so politics it varies. However, civil services is more permanent in nature, I would say.
Okay, Kajol will call you for our feedback.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.